to Face, the program
that frontally discusses
political and social issues in Nigeria. The weekly program brought to you on Wednesday by 6 p.m. Nigerian time, anchored by Prince Ewemade Concourse, powered by GCSDN.
Join us.
Good evening to all our wonderful viewers all over the world, and welcome to Face program. This is the program where we frontally discuss political and social issues in Nigeria. This weekly program is brought to you every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Nigerian time, anchored by my humble self, Prince Ewemade Concourse. Our topic for today is the Professor Mahmood Yakubu of INEC sacrificed Nigeria for personal gain. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, was born 1962, is a Nigerian academic and the current chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission. He promised over and over, more than 58 times, that Nigeria was going to witness one of the best elections during his tenure in office. So today we want to find out from our viewers all over the world, and also from two of our guests, who's going to be a guest on this program today, if the election was indeed free and fair, and if the professor did sacrifice Nigeria election for his own personal gain or his personal admission. But before I continue, I'm going to play some of the clip from the professor, the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission in Nigeria, prior to the 25th February 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. One of these clips is from the Chatham House, where he re-echoed and echoed again, over and over again, that the election was going to be free and fair. This promise was made before the Nigerian electorate and before the whole world. So let me play that jingle before I bring in my guest to the studio.
Our position that the Commission is not contemplating, let alone planning, to postpone the 2023 general election. We are going ahead to conduct the election as scheduled. I wish to remind you about three important facts about Nigeria's election, which I believe many of you are aware of. Number one, given the geographical expanse of the country, the number of registered voters, electoral constituencies, and polling units, conducting general election in Nigeria is a huge undertaking. The delimitation details are simply staggering. 93.4 million registered voters expected to elect their representatives in 1,491 constituencies, spread across 176,846 polling units. Based on the figures we compiled from the websites of various electoral commissions and interior ministries in West Africa, Nigeria's current voter population is 16.7 million, higher than the 76.7 million registered voters in all the other countries put together, and there are 14 other countries in the sub-region. This means that a general election in Nigeria is like conducting elections in the whole of West Africa and beyond. Secondly, Nigeria's election is not a one-day activity. There will be national elections followed by state elections. National elections, that is presidential election and elections to the two houses of assembly, The Senate and the House of Representatives will hold on Saturday, 25th February 2023. On that day, voters will elect the president and 469 legislators made up of 109 senators and 360 members of the House of Representatives. State elections will hold 2 weeks later on Saturday, 11th March 2023, to elect 28 out of 36 state governors and 993 members of state houses of assembly. I said 28 governors because in 8 states the elections are conducted off cycle because of previous litigations. So we have already conducted those elections.
Yes, I'm back again. I just put a pause on the video. We are going to replay that. I just want to show the beginning of that conversation at Chatham House before the February 2023 general election. Let me bring in my guest to the studio so we can continue the program for today. We're going to come back to that video again because there's a vital information that I wish to show to my audience today and also to the 2 guests who's going to be discussing this program for today. Dr. Frederick and Mr. Nusa, you are both welcome to this program today. How are you doing today, sirs?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to join you.
Thank you so much. Our topic for today is the Professor Mahmood.
No, sir, I greet you.
Yeah, Dr. Dorige, my pleasure. It's great to join you here in this program.
I greet you. I greet you. Yeah.
Yes, our program for topic for today is the Professor. Yeah, thank you. The Professor Mahmood Yakubu of INEC sacrificed Nigeria for personal gain. That is our topic for today. Over and over again, we have it on record that Professor Mahmood promised Nigeria a free, fair, and credible election. Nothing short of that. Today, we want to find out from both of you if indeed the election was free and fair in your own judgment. I'm going to start with you, Nusa. Did you believe that the February 2023 presidential election was free and fair? If you believe so, do you have any proof that you are going to show to our audience today before I bring in my proof to show that the election was not credible? Do you believe the election was free and fair? Mr. Nusa, the question is for you, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to this program. It is a pleasure to be here once again and to discuss the issues relating to the recently concluded presidential elections in Nigeria. There have been a lot of noise and rantings on various platforms in Nigeria across the landscape about the freeness and fairness of these elections. While I would not claim to speak for the Independent Electoral Commission, nor speak for the Nigerian government, I would like to make this abundantly clear, and also to state, with all due respect here, that I'm not in a position to say or prove whether the elections were free and fair. But however, as an independent observer, it is my candid opinion that when you compare the conduct of these current elections with preceding elections in the history of Nigeria, an independent observer will come to the logical conclusions that these elections were indeed the freest and fairest in the history of our nation. Yes, it is true that many people feel aggrieved or that allege that the elections were rigged because they did not win. This is not surprising for any observer of the Nigerian political scene, because the average Nigerian does not believe in losing. So whenever they lose, whether it is losing a football game, losing an election, or failing an exam, somebody is responsible. I will give you a popular refrain among Nigerians when we're going to school. When a student fails an exam, the first recourse is to say, oh, the teacher cut my marks and gave it to that of my fellow students. That was the reason why I failed. Similarly, when a Nigerian fails in a job interview, the often popular refrain is to say, oh, well, the interviewer did not like me. He or she was biased against me and therefore chose another candidate that was less qualified. Now, you bring this to the Nigerian election now. Since independence, every elections in the history of Nigeria has been contested by the losing party. No party in Nigeria, with the exception of President Goodluck Jonathan, has ever accepted defeat in an election. They would claim that the elections were rigged, the elections were fraudulent, and in fact, the presence of the internet technology today has made some of these bogus and irresponsible claims to become the norms, where people can create videos and post it on the internet to make these allegations as if they are substantial. I mean, they can be substantiated. So what I say here is this: the presence or the preponderance of videos, audio text, and documents that seem to allege fraud in the Nigerian election does not in any way confer veracity on those videos and documents. As far as I'm concerned, given the history of Nigerians and the propensity of our people to be hyperbolic and hysterical, I would say that 99% of these videos and audio contents are garbage. They are hogwash, and they don't hold any credibility. And in fact, when subjected to legal tests in the court of law, they will be found wanting. I will rest for now.
Thank you. Thank you. My question to you is, I'm going to repeat the question to you one more time. In your hearts of hearts, do you believe that this election was free and fair? And if it was free and fair, in your own opinion, like you said, do you have any proof to support your claim? That is my question to you. I want you to explain a little bit further. If you believe in your heart of hearts, that this election was free and fair, that's my question.
Yeah. Relatively speaking, this is the freest and fairest election in the history of Nigeria. And in fact, let me start here by congratulating the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari, for giving a free hand to the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct a free and fair election. Also, I would like to congratulate the chairman of INEC for conducting a free and fair election. This is the freest and fairest election in the history of Nigeria. The fact that people are making allegations. Let me just finish, please. Okay. The fact that people are making bogus allegations of the existence of fraud and what have you does not in any way confer veracity on those claims. If any individual has any evidence, any shred of evidence to prove that the elections were manipulated or rigged, they have the court. They can approach the court, and then their claims and their videos and whatever will be subjected to legal tests, and the court will then make their judgment. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come back to you again. Frederick, the same question goes to you. Do you believe that this election was free and fair? And if so,
well, first and foremost, thank you for having me here. And I respect freedom of expression. My friend and brother Nosa has just expressed himself. But before I continue, I would like to ask Nosa a question. Who is the senator elect in your senatorial district in Nigeria? I'm asking Nosa. Yes.
I don't see the
who is the senatorial? No. I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. Do you know the senator that because these are the people that are going to make laws for the country? Who is the senatorial candidate or the senator elect in your senatorial district?
Dr. Odorige, with all due respect here, sir, I do not see the relevance of this question. Again, we are here to discuss the fact that the elections in Nigeria, were they free and fair? And I posit that this is the freest and
if
fairest
you don't
election
know,
in the history of Nigeria.
if you
Okay, let me come in here. Let me come in here as the host of this program. Dr. Frederick, answer your question, please.
Well, you know why I asked Nosa about this simple question is that, and for him to even evade my question, I want to believe that he does not know. And if he does not know, I will not blame him because he lives abroad, just like some of us. But it would have been better if he had known. Why I asked him that
He was
question
won
is
by the
that
Labour Party. He was won by the Labour Party. So I don't have to know the name. Okay, I know that in Edo State, it was won by the Labour Party. But that
no. In Edo State, we have 3 senatorial districts.
Yes.
3.
Okay. Let me come in here. Let me in Nosa area, which is Edo South. It was won by NEDA.
Please. You know, you are the one moderating, and when you answer questions like this, you have to be very patient with your guest. I just asked him a question. You allow him to answer the question. You don't need to answer for him. The fact is that
he didn't want to answer you, so
because
that's why
he
I have
does
to
not
come
know.
in.
Because he does not know. And if somebody does not know his senator-elect in his own senatorial district, the person cannot categorically say that the national election was free and fair.
Look,
The
Okay,
senator
now I get your
elected.
point.
The senator elected in my senatorial district, that is Delta Central Senatorial District. His name is Dafinone Ede of APC. You should be able to know something as simple as this, and if possible, even your member of House of Reps. It is on that basis that I can know if you have enough information to say that the election was credible. Because if you know all these people, it means that you have been following the grassroots politics of your place. Because for somebody to just say, oh, all the videos, 99% of all the videos and audios, they are all fake. No. It's too categorical, especially when you don't have evidence to back up your
Both of
claim.
you are
Anybody
going
can
to
say,
have time. You are going to have time to discuss that.
Now,
But can you answer my question, please?
Now, you just asked if the elections were free and fair.
Yes.
I am saying that this is the worst election that has been conducted on the presidential level since I was born in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is an election that INEC had 4 years to prepare for, and they told us that they are adequately prepared for this election. This was the election that Nigerians were very hopeful about because they promised electronic transmission of results from the polling unit, which they did not do. And that resulted in catastrophe on election day. And the national chairman of INEC told us a few days ago that he agrees that the elections were flawed. If a national chairman of INEC could agree that the elections were flawed before a press conference, how can somebody now say, no, it was not flawed? I congratulate you. We are talking about an election where people were stabbed and killed on election day. Is that freedom? Apart from INEC that failed, the security agencies failed, the soldiers failed, DSS failed, the police failed. We saw police officers printing ballot papers. They were almost lynched. A youth copper was caught and he was lynched. A female professor was caught with an APC presidential presiding officer printing ballot papers. Is that the meaning of free and fair election? We saw the woman Jennifer who was stabbed in Surulere, and she was taken to the hospital for treatment with blood and tears dripping down her cheeks. She returned to cast a vote. Is that the meaning of a free and fair election? We saw the chairman of Adavi local government area who was escorted by police officers. Escorted by police officers to a polling unit, and he dipped his filthy hands into the sacred ballot boxes and started to remove votes that were cast for Labour Party before election results were being counted. In clear view of the police officers that were there. On normal circumstances, that man should be in detention by now. Even the chairman of INEC by now, in a normal country, should have been arrested or awaiting prosecution for treason. What they have just done is national sabotage. You are talking about an election that cost Nigeria 350 billion naira, including donations from the international communities. That is the election we're talking about. Can we say an election is free when we saw children voting to sustain bad governance, the same governance that kept our children on the street? 20 million children on the street is the population of 12 European countries. I'm talking about countries like Luxembourg, Croatia, Andorra, Estonia, Latvia, Slovenia, Moldova, Iceland, Malta, Albania, Montenegro, Bosnia, and Herzegovina. Put all of them together, it's not up to even 20 million. That is the number of our children on the street. They pick these children after every 4 years, give them food, prepare PVC, permanent voters card, for them to go and vote. This is the same INEC that disenfranchised 7 million Nigerian adults from completing their registration in this election in the name of deadline. After these children, before you get a PVC, first you have to do the internet registration. After that,
Dr. Frederick, I might have to stop you there. You have time to address our viewers on that issue. But the question was the election free and fair? If it was free and fair in your own opinion, do you have any proof to support? That was my question. I have more questions for both of you. But before we continue, I just want to show a video clip to show to my brother Nusa that indeed the election was not free and fair, as he has already alluded.
Mr. Moderator,
please, Mr. Moderator, that is not the way.
Before you show the video, I want to rebut what Dr. Odorige has just said. Many of the
he has not finished. He has not finished. I just actually cut him off.
The claims
he hasn't finished with
they are baseless and scandalous.
Okay, Mr. Nosa, just wait. Okay. You have the floor. Just 1 second. Mr. Frederick, continue, please.
I did not. You invited me here to come and talk. And if you ask me if that I should give proof why the elections are not free and fair, in the middle of my speech you are stopping me from talking when I've not even finished. Now I want to play a video.
No, because your analysis is going on for me.
You asked me a question. You want me to give you proofs, and in the middle of
that's
my
fine. You have the floor. You have the floor. Continue with your analysis, please.
Because when you interrupt somebody like that, the flow of thought you might just cut off the flow of thought. If you are telling me that, okay, speak for 10 minutes, I can restrain myself within 10 minutes. But if you are telling me that I have the floor, please let me just respectfully express myself. Because I remember I stopped where a local government chairman came to a polling unit, dipped his filthy hands into ballot boxes and started to remove votes for Labour Party. And I also talked about street children who were allowed to vote. And I was saying that before even somebody will be registered for PVC, first you do the internet registration. After that, you now go for physical registration. Who registered these children? To first on the internet, then physical registration, and they got their card. 6 years old children. The videos are there. In Kano State, we saw the queue. So these are not videos, they are incontrovertible. Somebody cannot say, oh, they are fake video. No. Even
with all
the
due
police
respect,
commissioner,
Mr. Moderator, I need to comment
the
here.
police commissioner,
No, just
the police
Mr.
commissioner,
Nosa, you have your time. Just be patient.
No,
You have your time to rebuffle
the
whatever you are
police
saying.
commissioner, the police commissioner,
No, Dr.
the
Odorige, I need
police
to interject
commissioner,
because he
the
just
police
finished
Mr.
commissioner.
Nosa, he did not
This is not a
interrupt you
debate.
while you were speaking,
No,
so you
because
should
he's
be
doing
patient with him.
storytelling. He's doing storytelling. I need to cut in here and redirect because
You have your time as well to do that. You have your time to do that, please. Just be patient.
Hold on a second, please. Hold on a second. These are baseless accusations that cannot withstand the scrutiny in a law court.
Mr. Nosa, Mr. Nosa,
can I finish? Can I finish, please?
no, just wait. You have your time.
No, I need to finish, please. I need to finish this talk. I have more than 20 years in the information technology industry, and I know that any video is not what is sought. Videos are garbage. It can be manipulated digitally. Audio text can be manipulated, and this has been the work of fifth columnists.
This is your own opinion. This is your own opinion. That's why you have to wait.
Yes, we will not stand for this, please. You need to time this conversation and let's have a debate. The idea of Nigerians just going there and throwing garbage on the internet and then alluding to them as fact is irresponsible, and we are better than this.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Frederick, please continue, please. Mr. Frederick.
When you told me to give my proof of why I said that the elections were not free, I started to make instances, that is proofs, to show that they were not free and fair. In the course of my making these proofs, NOSA called them storytelling. Now, I believe that if I finish speaking, after my storytelling based on proofs, he should not tell us his own proof to show that they were all free and fair. It's not enough to say all the videos are garbage, all the audios are garbage, everything they saw. No, show us proofs to show that they were not correct. These are people. We saw ballot papers in the bush. We saw thumbprinting, even police officers thumbprinting in the room. According to Shomole, when Labour Party started, they said there were 4 people tweeting in the room. We saw 4 people thumbprinting thousands of ballot papers in the room for APC. The videos are everywhere, not doctored videos. We're talking about in fact, there are many issues on ground as far as these elections are concerned. The rigging of the election started when General Muhammadu Buhari retired, told his audience in a rally that he was going to hand over to Tinubu. That was a categorical statement in a campaign rally. And on election day, against the law, after voting, the same Buhari lifted up his own ballot paper to show that he has voted for APC. Why? That was campaigning on election day, which was even against the law. So you can see that these were all prearranged to announce the results. Before the result were even announced, the Ashobi that Tinubu's people are going to wear for the inauguration was already in circulation, with his picture and everything. The Ashobi that we are going to wear for inauguration. You understand? So these are things that everybody sees, and we know, and you should even use opportunity to call on UNICEF to talk about this child abuse of Nigerian politicians using children to vote. This election is very crucial in Nigeria because it is the 30th anniversary of the June 12th election that was annulled by the Babangida's gang. So this is an election that Nigerians must say never again. So the good thing that NOSA said, which I agree with, is that the court should decide. The court will decide, and contending parties like the Labour Party, the PDP, they have gone to court, and they are going to show all these evidences. So let us wait for the court to decide. But
Thank you.
Before the court will decide,
much.
what we are just doing is just discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Nosa, do you have anything to say to that?
Can you limit this to a few minutes so that we can, get
Okay,
this thing?
you have 2
First and
minutes
foremost,
you have 2 minutes to
yes,
respond to his
thank you.
whatever you just said.
Yeah,
Because I
everything
have
that
questions. I still have more questions for both of you,
yes,
please.
everything that Dr. Dorige has just said is nothing but what we call street level gossip. Okay, street level gossip. Everybody that knows his stuff knows that videos today, you can create any video to convey any information you want it to convey. You send me a video here right now in my room, I can edit that video to show opposite of what was on the original video. So any videos purported to show rigging of elections and what have you, they are fraudulent. And Nigerians are good at this. We are a nation of sore losers. We never can lose. This is a nation and a people that are used to lying deliberately to convey an agenda. We are aware of certain elements in our society, anti-democratic forces, whose intent was not on winning the elections because they cannot win, but their intent was to get into power through an unorthodox method, by engineering a coup or by creating mayhem. The elections have been conducted. No election in the world is flawless. No election in the world is free of irregularities. But however, when you take the current elections in Nigeria in totality, in fairness and without prejudice, this remains the freest and the fairest elections in the history of Nigeria. And anybody that says anything to the contrary is living in Kukwana land.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Nosa. But before I continue, I'm going to just play a short video. I have 3 videos that I'm going to play to you, because one of the videos, no matter what you say, no matter what you keep our audience today, I personally, as a moderator, I don't believe it. One of the videos was sent to me on election day, during the election. I have it to play. It's among the 3 videos I'm going to play to you. So before, let me just play the one from the INEC chairman, where it said the election was going to be transmitted from the polling unit to the national server, which is their headquarters. Then also, I should also play some of the video where Nigeria were disenfranchised, where Nigerians, the register for the polling unit were found in the bush. Those videos were not doctored. Those were authentic video. So you cannot come to the show and tell our audience that everything on the social media is all garbage. It is not. But that is your opinion, and we respect your opinion.
Mr. Moderator, let me do a retort here. What is the basis?
No, let's just watch this video before we continue. I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
Let's watch this video. I'll come back to you.
Our innovations for election early enough. There are 3 critical components. The first one is the INEC voter enrollment device. It's called the IVED, for improved registration of voters. It's the same beavers, but when we register voters, there are peripherals we add. We add the fingerprint scanner and a thermal printer, so that we can register, take the fingerprints, and also print the temporary card. Then we have and then the IREV, the INEC Result Viewing Portal, to offer public access so that citizens can view results at polling units as the processes conclude.
Okay. I just want
to... let me correct you, please, Mr. Moderator. It is...
just 1 second. Just a second, please. There's something I wanted to show to you there. There was a statement that the INEC chairman made during his visit to Chatham House. I just wanted to show something to what he said, the mode of transmission. And what they've done is contrary to what we are seeing today. So you cannot come out here and tell our public, tell our audience that the election was the freest election in Nigeria. Nobody will buy that from you. Because one thing is, you told Nigerians, you stood before Nigerians and said the election result was going to be transmitted from the polling unit direct to the server. This was not done. What they did is contrary to what they promised Nigeria. I'm coming to you. 1 second. This so INEC
I will
official.
exempt myself in case there is any result from that polling unit. I have 12 polling units. No election was conducted in any of them.
I worked as an SPO at Ubuntu, in Oru West local government. But unfortunately, the election did not hold. And I want to do the needful to.
You can see what's going on. They have come to smuggle the ballot box out. See them, look at them going. Look at them going. They have smuggled the ballot box out.
My brother, I just showed you 3 separate clips. One was from an officer, an INEC official in Imo State. The other one said, election did not hold. Election did not hold. So how can you come out and tell the public that the election was the most freest election in Nigeria history? That is completely out of line. While we were having our conversation, we have another guest, Joe Brown. Also, is also a part of this program for today. We're just signing. Mr. Joe Brown, can you just say, greet our audience before we continue today's show, please?
Thank you so much for admitting me into the studio. I've been at the back stage listening to all of y'all. I want to say thank you all for a good job. I've listened to Luigi and Nosa and including yourself. You are all doing well. It's great that we involve a lot of opinionated. So basically, you guys are doing a good job. I just want to say hi to everyone in the studio that I'm here live with y'all. If I still have time, I may also make my own contribution.
Thank you so much. Mr. Frederick, my next question is to you. Did INEC for election rigging? Mr. Frederick, the question is for you.
On the election day, many of the presiding officers, they complained that they could not upload the results because they were not given the right passwords. So it was deliberate not to give them the passwords so that the results will not be uploaded. So these are all activities of INEC. Therefore, I want to use this opportunity to tell Nigerians that as you go to choose your governor on Saturday, March 11, please, at the polling unit, when the results are been counted, snap your result sheets. So don't depend on this INEC so-called givers. Snap the result sheet of all your polling units, which could be used in all, whether in case we have a court case. So please snap the result. Very, very important. All those times they are counting the result, you are dancing and singing. Please, after counting, snap the result. Very, very, very important. Because we are talking about a presidential election where the resident electoral commissioner of Sokoto State has been removed from office by the national chairman of INEC because of the corruption that took place in that presidential election. We are talking about an election where the international community has categorically stated that the elections fell below minimum standard. We are talking about election where we have PVCs. We saw PVCs in drainages in Rivers State. We saw PVCs on the streets. In September 2022, INEC, through Festus Okoye, their information commissioner, said that they were going to investigate the PVCs that were seen in drainages of Rivers State. Till date, no result came out from that so-called investigations. And you saw the frustration that Nigerians went through, especially in Lagos State, just to get their PVCs. The idea was to frustrate people. People were bribing INEC officials to get their PVCs, but children were being registered to vote in the north.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My next question, I'm going to ask our. No, I'm coming back to you, Mr. Nosa. I'm coming back to you, please.
I need to report what Dr. Odorike has just said. You know,
yeah, you have to. Okay, go ahead. You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to do that.
Now, Dr. Odorike has just told everybody that he has information that the INEC officials deliberately or misled the election workers by giving them false password. Therefore, they do not upload the result. Nothing can be further from this. There is no shred of evidence. There is no shred of evidence to make such claims. It is purely speculative. And this is what we as Nigerians speculate. And frankly, this is unfortunate. For one, I have no dog in the fight. I am not a partisan in this race. Okay? But what I do cherish is that when you are making judgments about this election, we have to have a reference point. We have to have the reference point of 1960 election. Let us talk about the reference point with the 1979 election. How about the 1999 federal election? What about the 2003 presidential election conducted by General Olusegun Obasanjo? When you compare this election with the preceding elections in the history of Nigeria, even a blind man can tell you that this is the freest election in the history of Nigeria. We can set aside our biases against General Buhari or our preference of Labour Party or whatever. This election, even demonstrated by the result. Let me tell you this in case you don't know. The home state of the president of Nigeria, Katsina State, was won by the opposition party. One of the major candidates, or the candidate of the APC, his home state of Lagos, was won by the Labour Party. The national coordinating campaign chairman of the APC, his home state was won by the Labour Party. Give me a break. How about we look at the southeastern states, where the Labour Party got in upward of 90 to 95%? Were there begins in those places? You see, we must not begin to speak. Nigerians are a nation of sore losers. This election has been won and lost. And those who have lost have the right to approach the courts and present their evidence. But their evidence are garbage.
Thank you. In your own opinion, you believe their evidence are garbage. What Frederick said, it wasn't a made-up story. It was some of the INEC official that actually made a video that Frederick just referred to, that they could not log in on the election day. So you cannot come here and dispute it that information is not true, because the information came from the people on the floor. You live in the hold on a second. You live in the United States. You were not there, but this information are coming from the people who are on ground.
I know Nigerians. And I know the culture.
That is assumption. That you are assuming that whatever information they brought up to the public domain is
what you are saying
lies and it's made up. But that's your assumption.
We need to give credit. You see, you make your advocacy, you are free to do it, but do not tear the nation down just to achieve your own political goals.
Thank you. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you again. The next question, same question I asked my two guests before you, Joe. The question is for you, Joe. Do you believe the 2023 general election was free and fair? And if you believe so, do you have any evidence to show to our audience today? The question is for you, Joe, please. Mr. Joe, you have the floor. Mr. Joe Brown. Can you unmute yourself, please? Yeah, can you unmute yourself? Please? Okay, I think he signed out. Okay, let's before we continue, let me just say I think we have a couple of comments here before I come back to you again. Okay, the first question is from UC Man. INEC forgot that BVAS isn't those old school slate board you can write and wipe. INEC is in court because God has used the instrument to expose their hidden agenda. Thank you so much, my brother, for that wonderful comment. The next comment is Nosa, an INEC official. I will have to ask him that question personally. The next question is, You see, the
Please,
same question.
I would like to, can I answer that question? What is
Yeah, I'll ask him. I'm coming to that. Let me just finish with the comment because they're also part of the program. I'm coming to that. Let me finish with the question from our audience.
No,
Okay,
no,
you
let's
see,
take the
man.
questions one by one. We're taking the questions one by one.
Okay, let's go back then.
Yes.
The question is NOSA INEC official? Mr. NOSA, that question is for you, please.
Thank you very much. I do not work for INEC. I have no contract with INEC. I have not been engaged in politics in Nigeria. So that question to me is business. You know, it's purely speculative. I don't work for INEC and I don't represent INEC. But I speak as an informed Nigerian with a stake in the survival of my country. And when I see those anti-democratic forces who are bent on winning at all costs, trying to tear down this country because they want to win an election, I have a responsibility and a duty to speak out.
Thank you for speaking out. Okay, the next question. We cannot use the failed situation to deprive the true winner of this present election. His vote represents the hope of our generation. Thank you, UCL H. Man. The next question. Same person, no harm in getting the beavers data available for all parties. Running for election is idea of I know Nigeria is the same mentality that holds us down for a long time because we contribute to support evil. I think that's all the questions we have for today. Okay, sorry, we have another question here. Far love. Mr. Nosa, please return Nigeria to enjoy what you are praising. You are abroad and supporting daylight criminality. That was for you, Mr. Nosa. They say you should come back to Nigeria and enjoy the government that you've created.
I have no love lost. There's no love lost between me and the Nigerian government. I do not support any government. I have said it on your platform before, that what I see as the problem of Nigeria is not the problem of political leadership. I see the problem of a bad citizenship, that we need to transform ourselves culturally. We have a cultural problem. And actually, the outcome of this election will not in any way fundamentally transform the trajectory of our nation. So until we heed this call and start from the ground up to begin to change our ways, nothing is going to change in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next question. Jurison, my question to Dr. Nusa, Mr. Nusa, rather, the video of MC Olomo threatening voters at the polling unit, was that doctored one? The question is for you, Mr. Nusa, to answer, please.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm the one getting all the questions. I'm not a doctor.
Yes, because they are looking at the Nigerians are being irritated by your defending what a broad daylight criminality, broad daylight robbery, like something going on 6th Avenue to rob a bank.
Pure speculation. We only have one doctor here, and that is Dr. Freddy.
In the middle of the street.
However,
so the question is for you.
To answer the question here, as long as I was not there when that video was created, and also I have not had the opportunity to physically examine that video and its contents, I cannot confirm its veracity. Therefore, at this point, that video is purely speculative and bogus. Because Nigerians are doing that.
So if you've not been privileged to examine the video that is being made public, how did you not come to the conclusion that those videos are all bogus?
Because if you look at the trajectory of this election since the very beginning, there has been a well-orchestrated campaign against a particular candidate in this election by showing videos of candidates falling, by showing edited videos of candidates peeing on himself, or even pooping. Okay, these videos were all manipulated to convey a particular message that this candidate was fit to hold office. Hey, that's fair game in an election. But however, what that has shown is that video content by itself, in of itself, does not confer veracity. No.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, let me go on to the next question. Then I'm going to come and ask you a personal question on this show today. Osifo is, what rubbish is this man saying? So disgusting to hear. Well, I'm sorry, we don't really entertain abusive language here on this program. So just going to ignore that.
I will respond to him. The rubbish the man is saying is the same rubbish that people are parroting on the internet. Garbage. You see, take personal responsibility. the problem of Nigeria, remove Buhari today from the office, okay? Buhari was never the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria are Nigerians. So if we want to solve that problem, we need to fix ourselves. We need to change from our wicked ways and eschew the culture of permissiveness and our abhorrent culture. We need culture change. Voting for Peter Obi or any other politician that has participated in the current political process in Nigeria, to me, is not the solution to our problems.
Thank you so much. The next question is, the international observer, people of high repute on ground during the exercise, attested to the gross irregularity that happened before, during, and after the voting. What will you say to that, Mr. Nusa?
That is a bogus statement. I have not seen any shred of credible evidence where the international community specifically said that the Nigerian elections was completely flawed and therefore that election should be cancelled. What they have said and what I have seen is that some of the monitors said there were irregularities and logistical challenges. And that is fair. Even in the United States election, there are irregularities that took place in our elections here in the US. Even in the UK and in Europe, in many countries, elections are not sacrosanct. There are always irregularities and imperfections. But that in itself does not mean that the totality of the elections were rigged and therefore should be thrown away. Those who are pushing for that angle are anti-democratic forces in Nigeria who do not mean that nation well.
Thank you so much. We move on to the second to last question. This was the election where many Nigerians were assured of free, fair election without intimidation and manipulation. Citizens went out and voted by reason of the assurance from Professor Mahmood, but it ended up damaging any credibility he had earned in the past. The last question, rest in peace to Yakubu, Nigeria INEC chairman. Okay, thank you so much. My next question is to you, Mr. Nusa. Why wasn't the Beavers machine used to transmit results from the polling unit? That's the question that every Nigerian is begging for answer.
That's a fair question. That's a fair question. I don't have answers for you. I don't work for INEC. That question should be directed to the INEC chairman. And any other person that claims to know are purely speculating.
You don't have answer to that question.
No,
but
I don't.
You are able to tell our audience that every video that emanated from the February 25th general election was all fake and bogus without proper scrutiny to those videos.
Because they convey an agenda. If you have followed the Nigerian elections during the electionary campaign until now, you will see that there is a well-orchestrated campaign by a few columnists to malign the integrity of a particular candidate.
From your statement, I have no other option but to ask you, are you a card-carrying member of APC?
No, I'm not. I have never voted for them. I don't belong to that party. Because I believe, frankly speaking, I have said this before on your show, and I've said it in other places, okay, that, look, we must not see this election as a do-or-die affair. Because no matter who wins this election, the benefit to Nigeria or to the Nigerian state is going to be marginal unless we critically address what I believe is a fundamental issue with Nigeria.
Thank you so much. That will be a topic for another day. Mr. Frederick, the same question goes to you. Mr. Frederick. We can hear you. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes. You can hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Now, the question is, why did INEC not upload the results?
No, why did they not? Yeah, no, why did they didn't use the Beavers machine to upload the transmit the election result to the portal as promised by the INEC chairman?
Yes. We are saying the same thing. The INEC chairman told Nigerians that their system was hacked. He said that it was hacked on election day. That it was hacked on election day. After 4 years of preparation, he said it. Just yesterday, the news is that, the system is now very okay, that they even went to court, that they want to ask permission from the court so that they can reconfigure the Beavers machine. So NOSA might also tell us that maybe it's fake rumor that the INEC chairman did not say that the machine was hacked. So I believe that the system was not hacked. It was a deliberate attempt by INEC and their gang members to frustrate a credible election, because most of the presiding officers from various polling units said that they were not given the passwords. They were not given the passwords to upload results. We saw many of all these videos. Could all the videos have been doctored? The answer is no. So what has happened in Nigeria is national sabotage, and this is a treasonable offense by the INEC chairman and his crew to subvert the will of the people, and it's not something Nigerians should take for granted. But the good news is about the internet is that the internet does not forget. After the court has decided, I will suggest to NOSA to watch this video again so that he can realign himself with the reality of what happened on ground, because for somebody who does not even know the name of his senator-elect in his senatorial district cannot be telling us that all videos and all articles in Nigerians were fake, Nigerians are used to be losers and all of that, you know. But now, let me just add this as a way of conclusion. For most of you who do not know my relationship with NOSA, we were classmates in the secondary school, and both of us, that is Malak Saple, is somebody like, it's not just a friend, it's a brother that I've known since the 70s. And apart from attending secondary school together, we also attended Uniben together. This NOSA you are watching here was among those people that led us in 1989 to fight against the Babangida Abacha regime. So in those days, it was one of the leaders in Uniben, you understand, against SAP riot of Babangida 1989. And I know what he suffered in the hands of the military before he finally escaped from Nigeria. So I can vouch for his love for our country and his integrity as a person, but people can change. I don't know if this is the same NOSA that I know. I begin to wonder as I listen to him talk now. I begin to wonder: is this the NOSA that I know, or somebody can be cloned? I don't know if he has been cloned. Is
APC don't give out code chop. APC don't give out code chop.
I will interrogate this if this is the NOSA that I know, but I know that the NOSA I know is a man of integrity. It's not somebody that you can just, if he's an APC member or speaking for APC, he would have just told you here, pop and clearly now, he would have said it. But I know that he's not a card carrying member of APC, but I cannot understand this new NOSA of 2023. But the good news is that when the court finally decides, and the right winner is returned to office. In fact, let me make this clear. I'm not really desperate or keen about who returns to office. But the truth is that justice should be seen to have been served. Justice should have been seen to have been served. Whoever finally wins, let us be sure that yes, it was credible, it was fair, no problem. But the last thing I want to say is that Nigerians, if you vote on Saturday, please, let me reemphasize, snap your result. Don't depend on INEC. Secondly, let me use the opportunity to tell Tinubu that Lagos State belongs to Lagosians. He should endeavor to stop those alleged APC terrorists, political terrorists that are stabbing people on election. This morning, a market has been burned down. A spare part market has been burned down in Apapa, Lagos, by political thugs. We know what APC thugs did in this election. Let him stop his boys. Tinubu, stop your boys. Because we're talking about nation building here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. If I may comment, if I may comment.
Okay, you have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to.
Thank you very much. It is true that I have known Dr. Odorige since my teenage years, or even before my teenage years, since the age of 11, back in St. Malachi's College, Sapele. It's also true that we are not just friends, we are brothers. We went to Unibank together, and as he said, it is true that, yes, I was one of the principal movers and fighters against the Babangida regime in Nigeria. We led the anti-SARS demonstration, and I spent 57 days in military detention at number 2 Park Lane, Apapa, in 1989. That's a fact. It is true that, yes, I'm saying this, it is the same Lusa, but I have not changed. I still maintain my anti-establishment credentials. I am not a card-carrying member of APC, but I love Nigeria, and I know that the problem with Nigeria are Nigerians. And when we change from our wicked ways, we change and begin to love our country and do right by our country, we can become the greatest country in the world. So the outcome of these elections are in dispute, and that is the traditional Nigerian ways of contesting and not conceding. I am not saying that there were no irregularities. I cannot say that, because no elections are absolute, are sacrosanct, 100%. But I am saying that there is no substantial evidence to overturn the outcome of these elections. And therefore, those who love Nigeria must give peace a chance. And one thing I will say here is this. I have always advocated for culture change, and I wish to congratulate a subsection of the supporters and voters of the Labour Party for embracing culture change by investing their time and their resources in the candidate they believe in. That is the beginning of real sustainable change for Nigeria. And I'll tell you this, when it hits critical mass, that's when real change will come to Nigeria. And evidence is that the Labour Party won in several states. That is a testament to the resilience of the Nigerian people. But what must be said is this: if the party had had enough time, a year or 2 years to prepare, they may have won these elections. But these particular elections, they did not win, and they must not cry wolf where there is none. So finally, I want to congratulate members of the Nigerian Armed Forces for doing a good job to preserve and secure the nation. I also want to congratulate members of the Nigerian Police Force, the men and women who have served our country, for doing a great job, because it is not an easy thing to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Nusa. Again, that is your opinion. Like I always say, that is your opinion when it comes to judging this very election that took place in Nigeria on the 25th of February. It's all over. Everybody knows the election was not free and fair. There's so many video out there that can justify the outcome of the election, that the election was indeed not free and fair. My next question to you, Mr. Nusa, can the electorate still trust the judgment of INEC to carry out a credible election come next Saturday?
No doubt. The INEC, in my view, have done a terrific job. They've done an excellent job so far. What you are hearing is the noisy rantings of a few who have lost an election and they are unwilling to concede. I call those people sore losers. And we have them everywhere in Nigeria. They play a football game, they blame the officials. Oh, the referee blow whistle, and us are supposed to win. Okay? They write an exam and they fail, the teacher caught their marks. All right? So these are the people who are making noise. If you audit this election without prejudice, compare these elections to the charade of the Obasanjo administration. Compare this election to that charade and tell me that this election was not freer than Obasanjo's elections. Compare these elections to the 1979 elections organized by Alhaji Shehu Shagari and tell me this was not the freest election in our history. Compare these elections to the elections in the First Republic against the violence that took place in Western Nigeria and tell me these elections were not freer than that election. Look, we need to look. We can have our
thank you so much. Thank you. I have to stop you there. You can add that to your closing statement, because I still have Frederick still have to answer the same question. Mr. Frederick, over to you, please. Same question. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself.
Okay. On whether INEC would have
can the electorate trust the INEC? You know, can they trust the INEC?
Yes. INEC is now struggling to cover the tragic election of 25th February. So they will want to do everything to enhance the credibility of the election. But I also want to remind Nigerians that for you to be sure of your votes, please snap your results after counting. Snap your result sheet of your polling unit, because this INEC of today, I cannot trust them. And you can see the desperation of APC to win Lagos and other states, because we are dealing, when we are talking about APC, we are talking about principalities and powers. We are talking about people that are connected to terrorists. We are talking about people that parade fake bishops. We are talking about a Tinubu that is parading fake secondary school certificate. I told you that Nosa is my secondary school classmate. Tinubu cannot show us one of his classmates. That is the person we are dealing with here. We are talking about somebody related to a drug baron. Newspapers started to carry it in Austria and different countries that Nigerians have elected a drug baron. But I don't call Tinubu a president-elect. I call him their president announced until the Supreme Court will give us the president that Nigerians voted for. So Nigerians, that is it. Snap your result on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Nosa, the INEC went to court asking the court permission to reconfigure the BVAS machine. In your own opinion, why do you think the INEC want to reconfigure the BVAS machine? Considering the amount of data that has been stored on that BVAS machine during the 2023 February 25th general election.
Anyone that is familiar with information technology knows that before you use any device, you have to configure them. Those devices were configured for the presidential election. Now, if you are going to now use that same device to conduct the gubernatorial election, you have to reconfigure it to that to the gubernatorial election. If not, the candidates and options that will be available will not reflect the reality. So now, the fact that they went and approached the court, in my view, is an element of transparency. Okay, if these were the shadow days of Obasanjo, they would have just gone and done whatever they want to do. But no, they approached the court in the spirit of transparency, fairness, and integrity to say, wait a minute, we need to do this so that we can be prepared for the next gubernatorial elections. And for people to cast aspersion on that, to insinuate anything other than what it is, to me, why we say that a lot of the noise about the rigging of this election is purely speculative and does not hold water and will not stand the test of time and will not stand the stress test in the law courts. Okay, it is just the rantings that we are seeing here. So there's nothing wrong in it at all. It is purely fair play and in order.
Thank you so much. Mr. Frederick, over to you. Same question. Unmute yourself, please.
I can observe that Joe Brown has been struggling with his internet.
Yeah, I'm going to come to him.
Because he's in Nigeria, maybe you should just call him in because of the unstable internet that the government of Buhari is promoting in Nigeria. Please let him speak first, and I'll come in. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown, can you hear me? Mr. Brown, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Brown, can you hear me?
Mr. Brown should remove his video so that his internet will be stronger. Remove your video, Brown, and speak with just your audio. It will improve your internet there. In case you are hearing me, Brown.
I think he lives in Texas, but I think he's in Nigeria right now. Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, can you hear me?
It means it's not hearing us. Let's continue.
No, it's not hearing us. So you continue with the question.
So what was the question again, please?
Okay. INEC went to court seeking permission to reconfigure the BVAS machine. In your own opinion,
Well, I believe that commonsensically, what they are trying to do is to clean their fake results, which they uploaded before, so that they can begin to remove evidence that the court may use against them. Because if you look at some of the results that were posted uh, by INEC, they were very criminal. We saw results from Nasarawa State posted into results of in Lagos State. We saw Bauchi State and Gombe State having exactly the same numbers. We saw Nosa made reference to Katsina State. We saw results where the result of Katsina State was exactly the same result of 2019. So all of these things are what INEC is in a hurry to clean. But the good news is that we have more evidence against INEC. So all their plans will fail. We fail because even the cry of Nigerians has reached heaven, and angels are weeping. So that is how I see it. Over to you, Prince.
Yeah,
I
thank
can
you so
also see
much.
that there are also many comments waiting for you. I can see
Yeah,
that there are many comments here.
I think we still have like 4 more comments. Let's just take that before we proceed to the next. Okay, Tinker, you won't even see result sheet on Saturday. Nigeria for you. I vote for Imari. For the much Nosa knows about Nigerian law, what does he have to say about the INEC declaration of Tinubu as winner, in line with the provision of the needing to win 25% of FCT as part of winning? Mr. Nosa, that's the question for you. Mr. Nosa.
Yeah. Hello. What's the question?
Okay, they said, let me repeat again. For the much Nosa knows about Nigerian law, what does he have to say about the INEC declaration of Tinubu as winner, in line with provision of needing to win 25% of FCT as part of winning? As part of a winning.
Okay. Well, if I know correctly, I think Dr. Zoriga can correct me. The law says that you must win 25% in 2/3 of the states, including Abuja. Now, as somebody who read engineering and did my math, you would need to have 24 states plus 25% in Abuja. But if you have 25 states or 26 states, 25% in 26 states, then it makes the requirement of Abuja to be mute and unnecessary. So that is the fact. So from the reports and the results so far, it appears that Tinubu may have exceeded 25% in more than 26 states. So the issue of Abuja becomes mute.
Thank you. The next question
Please, Prince,
yeah.
Prince. So that let me just interrupt you so that we don't mislead our people. The law says and Abuja, which is conjunctive. This conjunctive and Abuja. There was no provision in the law which says if you win many states, it is no longer necessary to win Abuja. So it was hasty. You know, the result was declared around 4 a.m. on the 1st of March. In the afternoon by 3 p.m., they already gave them their certificates of return. So you can see the haste. The haste is because they were all prearranged, you know. So if he does not win Abuja like Peter Obi did, they should not even have declared him a winner. So INEC is just has compromised this election, and like I said, it's a treasonable offense, and the end will justify the means. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next question. The beavers, the same person, the beavers has capacity to store as much as 1,250 or so entirely per device. In Nusa IT knowledge, why does he think this is the case, and would he agree that the configuration of beavers may wipe record? Nusa, that's for you.
true that if you reconfigure the beavers, that the records will be wiped. There are backup systems and backup.
Nosa, I think Nosa is having some technical difficulties there. But let me just proceed with the other comment from the comment boss before we bring him back. You won't even see okay. I've read that already. From Ufoma, fair for what when the NO is different from the results. The no announce the result the election day. Well, I don't understand that question. No, okay. Another one from Osa. If your son goes to school and score the highest and someone wipe his result, will you stay calm and watch him play cool? Nosa is not here to answer those questions. I think he's having some technical difficulties at the moment. Let's wait for a few minutes and see if we can get back on before we proceed. Okay, I think he's back. Okay, he's back. Nosa, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you have two other questions. You have two other questions as well.
It appears I'm giving you a lot of ratings today because I can see all the questions are directed at me.
Yeah, because Nigerians are surprised to see a Nigerian that lives in this same planet telling them the opposite of what transpired during the February 25th election. So that's why they are bombarding you today with all these questions. They want to know your mindset.
Yes, and what I'm telling them is the truth. I have no dog in the fight. I'm not a carrying member of APC. But what I don't want and what I will not support, okay, is a deliberate and a well-orchestrated campaign to alter the outcome of the election.
Yeah, I think maybe your phone, your device you are using is probably having some kind of problem. Anyway, go ahead with the question.
What's the question?
Okay, somebody asked, he said, no, sir, if your son goes to school and score the highest and someone wiped his result, will you stay calm and watch him play cool?
This is part of what we are saying here. Nobody will wipe your result. Those are part of the mantras of Nigerians that we need to move away from. Nobody will wipe his result. If the son fails, he fails. If my son fails, he fails. Okay? You don't have to take or withdraw from somebody's results. I mean, these are the things we say. This is what I'm saying here. That we are sore losers. Okay? If you fail, you fail. If you lose elections, you lose elections. Within the ambit of the law, there is no evidence to show so far to date of substantial violence, substantial level of intimidation anywhere in Nigeria during the elections. What you had were skeletal issues. I want to commend the armed forces for doing an excellent job. The police force, the men and women of the Nigerian police service, for doing a great job. They should be commended and not derided, castigated. We must celebrate them because they have done a great job. And we must also celebrate the fact that these elections were conducted by a civilian government. Something we have had problems with in our history. Okay? Now,
thank you, Mr. Nosa. Thank you. When you say the Nigerian police force should be celebrated, what do you want Nigerians to celebrate about them when they stand watching people, thugs or terrorists, the political terrorists, cutting away with our ballot box? Is that what you want Nigerians to celebrate about the Nigerian police force?
No,
watching a local government chairman tearing apart a ballot box that belongs to the opposition party. Is that what you want Nigerians to celebrate?
That is not what I am saying. Okay? There may be incidents of ballot box snatching and what have you. What we need to look at is the totality of the elections that was held in 36 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And the preponderance of evidence available today is that the entire elections were free and fair. absence of a few areas of irregularities. Even in the most advanced democracies of the Western world, we also see some shenanigans. And people don't come out and say, oh, throw out the elections just because they did not win. So what I am saying is this. People are crying over spilled milk. Okay? So it's a win at all cost mentality that we need to jettison in our country. Everybody cannot win. The elections must have winners and losers. And Nigerians must imbibe that culture of saying, hey, if I win fair and square, fine. If I lose fair and square, fine. But you cannot begin to throw fire bombs and invent reasons as to why you lost when you cannot substantiate these allegations in the court of law.
Thank you, Mr. Nusa. Let me move on to the next question. The next question is from the same person. Since he's outside Nigeria, he's seeing what is rightly happening back home. Thank you for that comment. The next comment, INEC is like a Yahoo boy caught doing 419 by FBI, and he started begging FBI to give him time to wipe the evidence that was found with him. God used the foolish thing to confirm the wise. Okay, I think there's one more question. We have a lot of questions here today. Okay, that is why Nigeria are holding Mahmood of INEC to uphold his word. Made in Charterhouse, Nusa people are just being to request from INEC to do what is right. That is true. You guys have been fair. Nusa, at whose expense is fraud favorable to? That's a question for you, Nusa. Hello, Mr. Nusa. Are you there? Mr. Nusa, I think he's having some technical glitches, and we just wait for a few seconds or a few minutes and see if he's going to come back online and continue. Probably let me move on to the next question first before he could return back. Next question. Anyone who supports such an age-frail man to be the president is enemy of Nigeria. I agree with you, my brother. Does Nusa means to say that all is seen on air about youth are all over? Nigeria's showcasing palpable desire to effect a change in governance is just another youth charade or doctored video. That's not, it's not. I think our brother just joined us again. Our brother Joe, Mr. Joe, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, let me just because we almost we spend more than our usual time.
But
I'm just going to ask you a quick question that is very common among everybody these days. Do you believe that the 2023 general election was free and fair? And if indeed it was free and fair, do you have any proof to buttress your claim?
Well, the answer to that is that I wouldn't say it was completely free and fair. We all know this, that there was a lot of technicalities involved in it, and no one can actually say it was free and fair based on reports coming from different quarters right after the election. Here I'm on ground. I voted. And I know that what happened during the voting exercise, everything that according to, it was played according to the rule of INEC. Accreditation were made, and after voting, everybody, they were all agents present, recorded. I was there. I witnessed it from A to Z in my unit, and so the people recorded the results, and then photos were taken, shots were taken, videos were made of the full result before, even when it was entered, the result was entered into the sheet, the result sheet that was provided by INEC before they took the whole.
Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience. I'm actually
That's exactly what happened. So basically,
Oh, it's like your connection has something to do with Joe's connection. Now you are back. Joe connection is off. And anyway, let me give both of you 3 minutes to address our viewers all over the world. I'll start with you, Mr. Frederick. Your closing comment, please. Mr. Frederick, can you unmute, please?
Yes, my closing comment is that Nigerians should not lose hope. Nigerians should not lose hope in relation to what is happening in our country. But the good news is that I can tell you in advance that we, members of the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, we are going to sue the man called Joseph Salami, local government chairman of Adavi local government chairman of Kogi State, for putting his filthy hands into ballot boxes and tearing ballot papers. We are going to sue him. So please, I want you to just know this in advance. As I'm talking to you now, we have sued a sitting senator for using forged certificates, and the case is in court. And tomorrow, the 9th day of March, the court will decide on that case. Nigerians will hear it tomorrow. We are telling the court to withdraw his certificate of returns as a senator, and for him to refund every money that he has received as a senator. I am making reference to that just to tell you what we can do. So we are going to make sure, because if we don't start to act, if we don't act like this, we'll be just talking about talking. Nigerians must take action against what is going on in Nigeria. Therefore, I call on other NGOs in and outside Nigeria to make sure that they address this issue of the elections and take critical and very concrete steps towards enthroning justice, fairness, and equity in our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nusa, you have 3 minutes for your closing statement, please, or your closing remark. Mr. Nusa, please. Mr. Nusa, can you hear me?
He has to unmute himself.
Can you unmute yourself, Mr. Nusa? Yeah, you have to unmute yourself, please. Okay, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
You
You have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes for your closing remark.
Well, I would like to finally congratulate again Nigerians for going to the polls and for exercising their franchise. I want to say that it's not heed the calls of those who are, loud out there saying that the elections were rigged and fraudulent. We should be proud of what was accomplished. Several states slipped from the ruling party to the opposition party, and in the governorship elections, all things being equal, many states are also going to flip to the opposition. But Nigerians are voting their conscience, and that expression of their free will is being respected by INEC, contrary to speculations out there. So I finally also want to congratulate the INEC and the chairman of the INEC, Professor Yakubu, and his staff for doing an excellent job. The Nigerian police force for maintaining law and order during and after of the election. So we have done well. It does not mean it was perfect. There is room for improvement. What we need to do after this whole election is to do an after-action report and then document lessons learned that we can then implement in subsequent elections. But Nigeria must move forward and continue to move forward. And we can do this only if every Nigerian continues to do their part and embracing culture change and holding leaders accountable. Holding leaders accountable so that we can get the country of our dream. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. First of all, before I make my closing remark, I want to thank both of you for always available whenever we need you to be on this program. I also want to use this opportunity to congratulate Nigerians, especially the obedient movement worldwide. You guys have showed that together you can make it possible. You've proven to the international community and to the rest of the world that yes, when Nigerian youth unite, something good will come out of it. We can never lose hope right now because the case is before the court. The mandate belongs to the people, and nobody can rob the Nigerian youth of their mandate. During my last program before the 25th February 2023 election, I made a video because I was so passionate about Nigeria, where I said that that video might be my last video. I am not going anywhere. Nigeria is my country. I love Nigeria, and I want to see a better Nigeria in my time. Moving forward, we are going to have a lot of robust discussion on this platform. I am here to stay. GCSDN is here to stay. The last election on Saturday, February 25th, was not free, it was not fair. I have shown several videos to buttress my claim. First of all, INEC did not show up at the polling unit as at the time they were supposed to be there to start the accreditation, which is 8:30. There was voter suppression, people cutting away in the presence of the Nigerian police force with ballot box. The INEC, the chairman of the INEC, Independent Electoral Commission, also accepted that there were a lot of flaws in the election. How can someone come on this public domain to tell the world that the election was indeed free and fair? The election was never free nor fair. But Nigerians, the electorate, has been robbed of their mandate. We cannot stand or sit aside and continue to watch this injustice. This is broad daylight robbery on the Nigerian electorate. My people, until next week, same time, same place, I say remain blessed and God bless you all. Thank you again, my guests.